Well, we're here today to see my friend Paul. We've got a couple of guitars to have a look at and talk about. For those of you that are interested, these are going to be sold by public auction on the 8th of December, and all of the sale details are available at gildings.co.uk. So over to you, Paul.
Thank you. So this is a Gibson L2, and it's a special centennial model, and it was issued in January '94 to celebrate 100 years of the Gibson company. And the L2 is a nice guitar. It was one of the very first of their flat tops, and the interesting thing about it, or one of the interesting things, is it is actually slightly arched. Gibson were obviously famous for their arch top guitars. And if you look at this one from the side, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, it does have a slight arch, and also on the back it's got a very, very slight arch to it. So they weren't going to give up their arch top tradition easily, even if they were going to make a flat top. Flat top guitars had just started to become popular. People like Martin and Ditson were making flat top guitars. And so this was the L2, and it's a beautiful guitar. Lovely woods, lots of nice rosewood on the back there. It's book matched, and it's got a nice little floor in the wood down the middle there. But it's a matched floor. So the floor is the same both sides. That looks really pretty. And it's got an ebony fingerboard, so no expense spared there. And on the top here they put silver on the truss rod cover, and they've got this lovely old script logo. This is the old Gibson script logo from most of the pre-war Gibsons have this kind of script before they rationalised it into something that was a bit more mass producible. And the other thing which is quite nice, I didn't know this till earlier on today, this little gold purfling around here. Now they did that on the original. It wasn't just for this special centennial model they did that. The original had that as well, apparently. And it's got a nice little bridge, very small bridge, again ebony, which is very nice. Now I suppose unusual for a flat top, the pickguard is raised off the front of the guitar. So again, that's a tradition that carries over from their arch top guitars. Very nice machine heads. They're Clusen type, but they've got this really nice, more like a Waverley type peg head on them. And it says on the back, Centennial Special, January 1994, made in the US of A. Very nice guitar. 12 frets to the neck, which is sort of traditional way of doing things. Obviously later on a lot of guitars went 14 frets to the neck, but this was more like a classical guitar in tradition, so just 12 frets. This one was actually purchased from Mandolin Brothers in Staten Island, New York. And I'll just play a little blues so you get an idea of the sound. Lovely rich tone, especially the top, the treble. It's very rich. Lots of harmonics there, which is really nice. Lovely guitar. Okay, this is another Gibson. This is a Gibson 335 TD. Now, as you can see, it's a very unusual 335 in many ways. Probably the most obvious thing is this, the Veritone switch, which you would normally associate with a Gibson 3 3.55. But how I looked up on some of the reference books I've got earlier on today, and they did actually do this as a custom order. So there's one or two things happened here. Maybe the gentleman ordered this guitar especially from the factory and had the Veritone fitted, and they would do that to a 335 if you asked them nicely. Or he's bought the the Veritone kit and put it on as a retrofit, and it's going to be very difficult to ascertain that. It's nicely fitted, so it could well be a factory fit. One of the other things that's quite unusual about it is the Bigsby, because the Bigsby doesn't seem to be a factory fit. There's a couple of marks here which are very faint, you probably can't pick that up. I think originally it's had a version of the Gibson Vibrola, which was a weird vibrato device that went this way. Instead of going up and down, it went side to side. And I think that's been removed, and this Bigsby's been put on as a retrofit. But again, it's been really nicely done. You can't see the joints. And just coming back to the Veritone for a second, if you look on the top there, it says stereo. So that again points to probably a factory fit, because it looks like this belongs. It doesn't look like he's bought a little stereo truss rod cover and put it on later. The other interesting things about it is it's stereo wired. So again, like a 355, this double jack that comes out of here puts you into two different amplifier inputs, and the two pickups come up as separate stereo feeds. So it's a 335 in terms of, it says it's a 335 inside, 335 TD, it says Gibson Inc., Kalamazoo, Michigan. And that sort of gives you some clues as to the age. Obviously Kalamazoo means it's got to be 70s, late 70s, but the serial number points to somewhere between 70 and 75, and this decoration on the top, this double triangle, apparently they stopped doing that in 71. So the guitar is probably a 71. It's got two patent applied for pickups, and fairly unusually it's got Gibson written across the covers. A very interesting guitar, and it works well. The strings are absolutely shot completely. I think the strings must be 10 to 15 years old, but it still tunes all right, just about, and it plays really well. The action of the guitar is fabulous. So with some good strings on, I think it's going to be a really good working instrument. And it has that, because of the stereo and the Veritone, it does have that kind of B.B. King thing about it. My name's Paul Balmer. I wouldn't say I was an expert on Gibson guitars. I enjoy Gibson guitars. I know a fair bit about them. I'm actually the author of the Gibson Les Paul Manual, which has been called the definitive book on the Les Paul. I don't know if that's true, but it's nice to hear. I'm also the author of the Fender Stratocaster Manual, and the latest in the series is this, the Telecaster Manual, which came out this week. Actually, we're in November 2009 at the moment. The idea of these books is to help people to get the most out of their instrument, and if you look inside them, you'll see there's lots of details on how to set your guitar up and how to get the best out of it and get the best sound out of it. So that's the Haynes Guitar Manuals.